The Banana Empire, Britain's £70 million cocaine front. A grey dawn over Scotland's west coast. Crates of fruit roll off a ship from South America, stacked high, stamped with export codes destined for supermarkets and wholesalers. To the dock workers, it's routine. Bananas, straight from the tropics. But hidden deep inside the wooden pallets, wrapped in plastic and chemical sealed against sniffer dogs, lies something else entirely. Hundreds of kilograms of pure cocaine. This is the story of how two brothers, Jamie Stone and David Stone, built one of Britain's most sophisticated smuggling networks, a £70 million network drug empire disguised as a legitimate fruit business, and how it all came crashing down in an operation that exposed the inner workings of European organised crime. The rise. The Stones grew up in Glasgow's East End, a district shaped by hard graft, tight families, and the occasional shadow deal. Jamie, the elder, had a reputation even in his teens, sharp-tongued, ambitious, unafraid of risk. David was quieter, more methodical, the organizer who made sure every detail was in place. By their late 20s, the brothers were running a chain of car wash businesses and fruit import companies. To neighbours, they looked like self-made success stories, smart suits, new cars, generous to locals, but the profit margins never added up. A small car wash could not fund Range Rovers and designer watches. Behind the gloss, a different enterprise was taking shape. The business model. In 2017, as UK border inspections tightened, the cocaine trade adapted. Cartels in Colombia and Ecuador began concealing drugs inside fresh-produced shipments. Bananas were ideal. They travelled quickly in massive quantities and had to be processed before ripening spoiled the cargo. A perfect cover, legitimate paperwork, fast turnaround, minimal checks. The Stones saw an opportunity. Through contacts in Spain and the Netherlands, they connected with brokers who could supply bulk cocaine straight from the source. Their company, Stone Fruits Limited, began importing containers of bananas to distribution warehouses around the UK. Hidden among the crates, cocaine bricks camouflaged in matching cardboard boxes, sometimes vacuum-sealed inside the fruit pallets themselves. Each shipment could carry up to 250 kilograms of cocaine, street value around £9 million. And every few weeks, another container arrived. Money, power, and code words. Like many modern criminals, the Stones didn't rely on burner phones. They used EncroChat, an encrypted messaging network favoured by organised crime across Europe. Through it, they arranged shipments, payments, and drop-offs using code words. Bananas for cocaine, peels for cash, fruit salad for mixed loads. Their associates handled distribution in Manchester, Birmingham, and London. Money was laundered through the car washes and a network of fake invoices, fleets of vans that supposedly transported produce, but in reality ferried drugs between stash houses. At their peak, investigators estimate the brothers were moving 2 tons of cocaine a year, grossing more than £70 million in 12 months. It was one of the largest independent operations in Britain. The police catch a whiff. By 2020, the National Crime Agency and Police Scotland were already watching. A tip-off from Dutch customs, a suspicious container flagged in Rotterdam, led them to a Glasgow fruit importer. When officers opened the shipment, they found packages of cocaine disguised as banana boxes, each stamped with false export codes. Instead of immediately arresting the couriers, investigators did something smarter. They let the shipment run. Surveillance teams tracked the delivery to a warehouse near Motherwell. Hidden cameras recorded the unloading, the sorting, the coded phone calls. Then, in mid-2020, a cyber breakthrough changed everything. French investigators cracked the encryption behind EncroChat, giving law enforcement agencies across Europe a live window into thousands of criminal conversations. Among the usernames that surfaced were Banana Boss and Fruit King, both traced back to phones used by the Stone brothers. Operation Golden Peel. The UK phase of the investigation was codenamed Operation Golden Peel. For months, undercover teams pieced together the network, the docks, the couriers, the storage sites. They mapped dozens of encrypted messages to specific shipments, linking the brothers to seizures not only in Scotland, but also in London and the North East. By spring 2022, the evidence was overwhelming. Police intercepted a lorry leaving a distribution hub near Glasgow. Inside, 72 kilograms of cocaine packed among boxes of fruit hidden under false pallets. Street value, roughly £6 million. A second raid, 2 weeks later, uncovered a further £1.2 million in cash, luxury watches and ledgers detailing transactions worth tens of millions. When detectives finally moved in, Jamie Stone was found at his mansion outside Edinburgh, still logged into an encrypted phone. David Stone was arrested hours later at a warehouse near the docks. Both men denied everything. The trial. The case reached Glasgow High Court in early 2024. Prosecutors presented a mountain of evidence: digital messages, shipping manifests, financial records, and photographs of banana crates concealing the cocaine blocks. The EncroChat data proved crucial. It showed the brothers negotiating shipments, complaining about customs checks, even boasting of profits. In one recovered message, Fruit King wrote, "Another 200 boxes through. Keep the peels moving." The defense argued the messages were ambiguous, that the brothers were legitimate businessmen caught up in someone else's scheme. But the forensic trail, from docks to warehouses to bank deposits, left little doubt. After a 10-week trial, the jury returned guilty verdicts on all counts of conspiracy to import and supply Class A drugs and money laundering. Jamie Stone received 30 years, David Stone 25. 5 associates, including transport managers and distributors, received sentences ranging from 8 to 18 years. The aftermath. At sentencing, the judge described the operation as an industrial-scale conspiracy that exploited legitimate trade to poison communities for profit. Investigators believe the network laundered more than £100 million through businesses, property, and offshore accounts. Police seized assets worth £3.7 million, cars, watches, and 2 houses, under the Proceeds of Crime Act. For the NCA, Operation Golden Peel became a model for multi-agency cooperation: customs, police, cyber experts, and prosecutors working together across borders. For the public, it exposed just how easily global trade routes can be turned into pipelines for narcotics. A global game. The Stone brothers were not unique. Across Europe, similar banana crate smuggling rings were uncovered, each revealing the same pattern: legitimate produce shipments masking tons of cocaine. In 1 year alone, European authorities seized more than 25 tons of cocaine hidden in fruit containers. The tactic works because the legitimate trade is so vast. Millions of tons of bananas enter Europe every year. Inspecting every crate is impossible. Smugglers gamble on the odds. Even if one shipment is caught, 9 others make it through. For traffickers, it's mathematics. For the authorities, it's a war of attrition. The personal collapse. Inside prison, Jamie Stone's empire crumbled. Accounts frozen, properties seized, reputation shattered. Associates turned witnesses. Loyal employees claimed they had no idea what was going on. The car washes were shut down, the import license revoked. David Stone reportedly struggled to adjust to incarceration. Letters intercepted by prison staff hinted at paranoia, fears of retribution from South American suppliers. In the underworld, a broken deal rarely ends at the border. For the communities where their drugs once flowed, the collapse of the Stone network was both victory and illusion. Within months, smaller crews filled the vacuum, feeding the same demand. In the words of one NCA officer, "You cut off one head of the snake and another grows back, but each cut makes it weaker." The lesson. The story of the Stone brothers is not just a crime saga, it's a case study in the evolution of smuggling. 50 years ago, cocaine arrived in suitcases and fishing boats. Today it rides in shipping containers, encrypted phones, and coded invoices. The tools change, the greed does not. The banana trade, one of the most ordinary global commodities, became a Trojan horse for narcotics worth billions. And all it took was a few corrupt middlemen and 2 ambitious brothers who thought they could outsmart the system. They almost did. For years, they lived like kings. Wealth, power, respect bought in cash and fear. But in the end, the same logistics that made them rich became the evidence that destroyed them. Every shipment, every invoice, every encrypted message told a story. One that investigators painstakingly pieced together. Closing reflection. On a cold March morning in 2024, a convoy of police vans rolled out of Glasgow High Court, carrying the Stone brothers to prison. Outside, a detective who had spent 5 years on the case watched them go and simply said, "All that for a few bananas." It was a line that summed up the absurdity of the modern drug trade. Empires built on deception, sustained by greed, and undone by the smallest detail. The banana crates keep arriving at British docks. Customs officers still open a few at random. Most are filled with fruit. But sometimes, just sometimes, they find a reminder of the Stones' empire. A trace of powder, a hidden compartment, a ghost of the trade that almost fooled everyone. Because in the end, crime, like fruit, always ripens and always leaves a scent.